Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? I am so happy and relaxed and relieved to be back home. It was an amazing trip. I hope you guys all had an amazing holiday. Um, I'm getting everything set up here so we can make sure all the stuff is streaming where it's supposed to be streaming. All right, let's fix this so that my head is not cut off. How about that? What do you think? Let's find out. Hey, Mandy. I don't know why it has me commenting as healthy in a wild world. How weird. Okay, so today we're actually going to talk about the holiday blues, which probably would have been a good topic last week, but it still applies for the next month because we still have these 14 plus holidays to get through. I don't know which ones you guys celebrate, but it really doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter if it is a vacation or it's a special celebration, a birthday, family reunion, anything like that. This applies across the board. Okay. The reason it is so important is there's some confusion between seasonal affective disorder and the post holiday blues. So that's why today we are going to talk about post holiday blues, what they are, how to overcome them, and really how to kind of go with the flow and have them not become such a hiccup in the world. It's such a hiccup in your world because the holidays are so special and celebrating with family, and especially after our whole 2 years shut down, not really sure where the world was going um, and trying to keep everybody safe, this really is the first year that everybody has just operated like normal, or at least majority of people have operated as though it was just pre-COVID normal. What that means is that now this year we're back to where the holiday blues they're a real thing. And they might be affecting some of you this week where they wouldn't need to. But not knowing what to do and not understanding what's happening can be a glitch. And it can really wreak havoc over the short time frame right after a holiday and make you look back and reflect and see more of a negative, see that time as a negative light versus the positive that it should be. Um, so bottom line, post-holiday blues, seasonal affective disorder. What is the difference? Seasonal affective disorder affects a lot of you up north, especially those of you kind of in the area, Northeast. I'm not sure about Midwest, but I know Northeast where I grew up, it gets very cloudy and gloomy. And oh my gosh, you guys, it was so gloomy majority of my trip. And that's just TC. That's the season. Tis the season for the gloom and doom. It's actually tis the season for the Eeyore weather, which I've never done very well with. So seasonal affective disorder is where that affects you long term and affects you throughout the season. Post holiday blues, post vacation blues, however that works out in your mind, that's only maybe a week. If you're dealing with these symptoms and it's longer than a week, there's something else happening and we need to look into that. All right. Here's why post holiday blues are even a thing is for our brain. You know how carbohydrates, we always hear about the carbohydrate roller coaster, right? Eat a carbohydrate and it spikes your system. Simple carb. So you go and you eat sugar. Simple carb, right? Go and eat sugar. Blood sugar spikes. Well, it drops. So then you feel like you have to have another dose. You have to have a little bit more increase, right? And then it drops you down a little further. And this is the glycemic roller coaster that is basically the core of our pleasure center. When we feel pleasure, our body enjoys it. Adrenaline boosts, we're up here. When that pleasure is gone, our body drops us down. Hence, that carb roller coaster is your pleasure center roller coaster. It's effectively the same thing. And that's what's happening with the post-holiday blues is you had this time frame with friends and family. You're surrounded by love and joy and happiness and a lot of energy and excitement, and the vibration is off the charts. And then quiet, and you're back to normal life. And all of that energy is gone, or at least it feels like it's gone. So it leaves you with this empty sense in your brain that something's missing. So that adrenaline spike has now plummeted, right? It's the immediate release of stress hormones. Psh, bottom out, right? Now your body wants to recover and get back to it. But in that recovery phase, it effectively makes you feel like absolute crap. Now, there are more than 64% of us dealing with this in the States, right? You don't believe me? I got that from the National Alliance of Mental Illness. They track these things. Now, there are some people who, if you are not some people, that's horrible phrasing. Ignore that. If you struggle with a mental illness of any sort, a chemical imbalance within your brain, regardless what it is, holiday blues are going to be a thing. It's guaranteed. For those of us that do not deal with that, who do not have a mental illness, you're still going to deal with it, but it makes you feel like for that short time period while your body's kind of recovering and trying to get back into balance, it makes you feel like you do. Foggy brain. You can't sleep, or your sleep is interrupted multiple times, right? So it's not like a full, well rested night. So you're not getting your recovery period. Rest is recovery, right? Your energy is bottomed out, and it's almost like you can't find enough energy. There's not enough caffeine to get you through the day. You're struggling with that, right? Your mood is reflective of your energy. So you could be grumpier than normal, you can be testier than normal. Little things that wouldn't normally bother you now do. And by about the third day, you're going, all right, what the heck is going on? Because concentration is off, you have a lack of focus, a lack of direction. So, like this morning, for instance, I haven't been in my own space in over a week. So, coming to this morning, I woke up feeling like I don't know what to do. Now, one of the things that I did prior to this was before I even left, I wrote down a list of the things I would need to do today to get myself back on track. I knew because of history, because of my education experience as well. But I knew that coming back and waking up today, regardless of what I did this weekend, I would need first the recovery time so that I'm not just going from this energetic, exciting time straight into work, which I know some of you have to do. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. But if you have that time frame, to rest, just enjoy life, have a peaceful couple of days, and then get back into the rest of the world. That's really my number one suggestion. We're going to get into the top five in just a minute, but that it kind of came up in my brain because, we're talking about all of these issues that come up in post holiday blues. And a couple of them that really concern me, and I try to pay attention to this, especially with clients who are just starting programs or who are just finishing up like their first month and here's this holiday or here's this vacation. It's the feelings of worthlessness, the feelings of guilt that you had this wonderful fabulous time and now it's over, and for my clients specifically, you guys deal with a lot of guilt that you when you actually enjoyed yourself. You had a slice of pumpkin pie, or you had a drink, or you had a second. I've had people call me this weekend and say, "Oh my God, I had three drinks over a 14-hour period of time." It sounds it sounds minimal today, right? But in the moment, and when you feel like you have put so much into healing yourself, it can feel like you've just eliminated all that hard work, and you haven't. You really, truly haven't. But these are the feelings that happen once all of the fun is over. And it's not just Thanksgiving. This is a good time frame for Thanksgiving, But this will happen whether it's Hanukkah, whether it's Kwanzaa, whether it's Christmas. And I'm so sorry, but I don't know a lot of the other holidays. So please, if you're listening to this, comment below. I'm very curious. Once I heard there were 14 plus holidays, I'm now excited to learn what the other ones are, what the other traditions are. So anyway, back to it. This anxiety, this reaction, the guilt, the worthlessness, it is going to pop up. If you know it's going to pop up, there are things that we can do to help navigate that. And instead of having this wonderful, exciting time frame, and then boom, back to normal life, and now what do? Right? And you're just kind of trudging through, and it feels like that week after you're trudging through mud, trying to just climb up this freaking hill. Now, when I was in Austin, this analogy reminds me of this time frame. When I was in Austin, if you were there, you know what I'm talking about. It was the very first color run in Austin, and it was at one of the parks with a steep hill. And normally it wouldn't have been a big deal, except for the fact that it poured the night before. I mean, torrential downpour, and we weren't necessarily expecting rain. Many of the people signed up, including myself in my running group, had just done 3M the Sunday before. This was Saturday. We show up, and we're one of the last rounds to go through this course. We got to where the hill goes down. There were people who lost shoes, including myself. We helped carry strollers. There was supposed to be this path that you could take, and the strollers could trudge through, and it wasn't supposed to be muddy at all. Oh my gosh, you guys, it was the mud run, color run. They took out several of the stations, so you really didn't get much color on you. And they took them out because of the mud, but they didn't cancel the race. So if you're out there and you've done this, you know what I'm talking about. We are a special group. And if you ever overhear a conversation, you're like, oh my God, I was there. What did you lose? I lost shoes. That's what I lost. I lost shoes. Um, we got the strollers up, we got the kids up. It was great, but that's what the post-holiday blues can feel like to some people, is just trudging through. And where the color run is a 3-mile run, right? 3-mile jog. If you walk at slowest pace, it's an hour. It took us two. It took us 2 hours of trudging through mud to go down this hill and back up. Oh my gosh. It was an experience. And this experience is a great analogy for how that the post-holiday blues, how the week after Thanksgiving, the week after any of the major holidays, special celebrations, vacations, it's how it feels. Here you are, you had this great time, schedules thrown to the wind, and now you've got to get back to it. So how do you do this? Well, we have to play a little bit of a brain game with ourselves. And there's a couple of things that we can do. All right, now I've got five. Yep, I have 5 tips for you. I had 4 and I threw a 5th one in last minute because I think it's important to mention it as a secondary, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. So, very first tip I have for you for post holiday blues and recovering: be kind to yourself. You are allowed to enjoy a day. And as I've mentioned multiple times prior to Thanksgiving, one day, one meal. Enjoy yourself. And if you did, wonderful. Do not feel guilty about that. Now, easier said than done. If you have activities that you do, meditation, journaling, anything like that, that helps you get back to center, this is a good time to do it. It doesn't have to be anything major. Keep it simple, keep it small. Try to eat as healthy as you possibly can, but be kind to yourself. Do the things that nurture you, the things that you feel loved and supported and soothed by yourself. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, if this seems like a foreign concept, then let's chat. Okay. Because this should not be a foreign concept to you. This is actually the core component of living a healthy lifestyle. So if this is a challenge for you to process and consider and think of, then let's chat. Let's get you on that path. Doesn't necessarily mean you and I are working together. It just means you need to get on this path because it really will help with the rest of your life, and it makes everything so much easier. You've got to focus on health for your entire life. So let's say you live to 90. You're going to spend all the rest of your years trying to go back and forth and figure it out versus just figuring it out. Talk to somebody, get a little help and figure it out. This is how you're kind to yourself. So number one, be kind to you. Be kind, be gentle, and be realistic. Number two, as quickly as possible, get back into your healthy practices. I mentioned healthy eating, right? Eating as healthy as possible. Whatever that means on your day to day, get back into it. If you go grocery shopping just for holiday, add in a day or two of healthy eating into that grocery shopping list. And then just plan for it because you can have turkey on a salad. You can have a turkey wrap, which is basically just that turkey sandwich minus, the bread. Or instead of having white bread, you have, sourdough, which helps your gut, or you have a whole grain bread. So you just kind of modify certain habits and things that you would have traditionally done in the past to make them a little bit healthier. Cranberries and turkey on a salad are actually really delicious. Throw in a little balsamic glaze on top of that. Oh, you guys, ooh, delicious. I might have to put that in December's meal plan. Might have to do that. All right, so now the third one is use the herbs of the season to help you. Herbal medicine, aromatherapy, therapeutic nutrition, so using food for therapeutic purposes. And I'm not talking about treating cancer and treating, bone breaks, things that are emergency that actually need conventional medicine. What I'm talking about is um, food that helps improve your mood, right? Those mood boosting foods, the dark leafy greens, the dark chocolate, the healthy omega fats. So red fish like salmon, uh, poultry, protein that comes in a plant-based form. Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize I was there. Um, Apples, berries, citrus, all of these things. Squashes right now are in season, and squashes have that like comfy, like just the coating, like, oh, I'm just so comfy and I've just been given a hug, right? It has this. These are the foods that you should be focusing on having because they're going to boost your mood, right? They're going to improve your self-reflection without you really doing anything but eating food. Now, when I talk holiday herbs, so we're going to talk herbal medicine for just a minute, all right? This season is packed full of really pungent, potent herbs that can be very helpful and therapeutic, or they can be very toxic. We are going to focus on the helpful and therapeutic versions of them. And we're going to talk a little bit about the harmful effects so that you don't go overboard. But to keep it really simple, if all you did was have a glass of tea, whatever your favorite tea is, every single day, then that would actually help you as well. But let's use the holiday herbs for just a minute. So now, the ones I'm going to mention, they're anti-inflammatory, they're antimicrobial, they're antibacterial, and they're antivirals. What that means is it helps boost and infuse your immune system. Boosting your immune system helps boost your gut health, right? Now, with these herbs, there's specific actions. The specific chemical constituents found within these help to increase your pancreatic lipase, and it stimulates lipid metabolism. Now, in normal people speak, day to day normal speak, not the scientific world, what does this mean? It means that it helps your body maintain and manage weight. It reduces your inflammation that is unnecessary. It reduces water weight. It helps you not hold on to the things that you don't necessarily need. Okay. Now, the chemical constituents within these herbs also have very specific components in and of themselves. All right. Um, so the constituents themselves, let's go over these for just a minute for all you science nerds out there. You have mentha, you have A-terpineol, A-pinene. Figure out which ones those are yet? Linalool, limonene, and eugenol. So I'm curious, have you figured out what herbs these are? I'm always curious if people know this. All right, so let's come back to the mentha. Mint, mentha, mint, right? That means your menthol, that means all different variations of those constituents. Cinnamon, peppermint, and wintergreen are seasonal mints. Now, here is a little caveat to that. If you are pregnant, trying to conceive, or have any sort of autoimmune condition, be very careful with your cinnamon and peppermint. Okay, too much is toxic. There are therapeutic margins within any and all herbal foods or herbal. There are therapeutic margins between any and all plants. Let me just put it that way. The therapeutic margins, when they are low, means that they are dangerous. That means that if you overdose on them, they can actually be deadly. All right. They can be extremely harmful. And yes, can lead to death. I know people think herbs, they think aromatherapy, and they're like, yeah, they're safe. Uh, medicine, therapy, treatments actually started out herbal medicine. Well, there are a lot of therapeutic herbs that are not, they have very wide thresholds. There are a lot within this season specifically that are very low. They're very thin. They're very shallow. And that can be quite dangerous. Wintergreen, you want to avoid at all costs if you are pregnant or trying to conceive. Do not sniff it. Do not apply it. Do not, nothing. Avoid it. Okay. Pine and rosemary as well. And those are herbs from this season. You can eat rosemary, just don't, no aromatherapy. Herbal teas, tinctures, things like that are out. Same thing with pine. So if you use pine sol or any sort of pine scented cleaner, kibosh it. Okay, ginger. Now we've talked about ginger at length, but just for those of you who are new here, ginger is one of my absolute favorite herbs for gut health. It's soothing, it boosts your immune system. It really provides the constituents that your body needs to maintain a healthy microbial balance within your gut. Your microbiome in your gut just loves ginger, it really does. Dark chocolate, which I put it in herbal medicine because at some point traditional medicine used dark chocolate therapeutically. It did not just use it as, I want some chocolate today, I'm craving some sugar. It was actually a therapeutic use. Now the Mayans had this dark chocolate blend and mix and some drink that they used to make, and I saw it on the food history, one of the food history things, and it is absolutely delicious. But it truly is dark chocolate in its purest form. So the higher the cacao count, the more therapeutic the dark chocolate is. Now, for most of us, if you're used to eating, like the mint chocolate, or not the mint chocolate, like the milk chocolates or just your standard candy over the counter, a higher percentage of cacao is going to feel, or not feel, it's going to taste a little bitter. So sometimes you have to start with a lower percentage. So starting at about 60% and then going up from there once you get used to 60% will help you really maximize the benefits during this season. All right. Now, Christmas stories, I believe some of the Hanukkah stories as well, biblical stories, they all talk about frankincense and myrrh, right? Or a lot of them do. Well, frankincense and myrrh are herbs that are anti-inflammatories, they are therapeutic, and during this season, they are pungent and potent enough that they help revive your brain and really just kind of spark a little bit of energy. Your body feels a little bit more youthful. So those anti-inflammatory properties within myrrh and within frankincense are very powerful. The therapeutic margins aren't as thin as wintergreen, but I mean, they're still there. And a lot of us will, I mean, you walk into stores and you smell the frankincense and myrrh, right? Those things are amazing to have in your house. You could do a pot, I think it's called a pot boil or boil pot, something like that. You basically just take your biggest pot, your Dutch oven, pour some water in it, pop some cinnamon in there, pop some myrrh, pop some frankincense, pop some allspice, some star anise, nutmeg, mm, and I believe ginger, and then some orange slices. Pop it in the pot, boil it. Your house will smell like Williams Sonoma. Oh. And because you use herbs, actual herbs, and oranges, you also receive the therapeutic benefits of it. We don't have to eat herbs to receive therapeutic benefits. We actually receive the most benefits when we use our olfactory system, your nose, when you sniff it, when you breathe it. And all this, the the preschool cough that's going around all the kids, that blend, having that boil into your house actually helps everybody fight that off. So do your boil pot or pot boil. I really need to look at what that's called. Um, I know there's a name for it, but I always just tell people to boil a pot of water and throw the herbs in. It's amazing. Doing that in the summer in Texas is not generally recommended, but it does do the same thing. I usually use a lot of citrus during those times. I put citrus and I put ginger and mint into my water during the summer, and then I'll just let it steam. I won't boil it as long as I will in the winter time. It'll put some moisture into the air, so you humidify the air so it's not as dry, especially for those of you guys up north. It helps the humidifiers within your houses. Now, I saved an herb for the very last because I find that a lot of people don't know this about this herb. So here's one more. Ready? Mistletoe. Real mistletoe, not the fake stuff. Real mistletoe. Mistletoe is actually a parasite. It is an invasive plant. It grows on trees and it hops from tree to tree to tree to tree. The tree does not want the mistletoe on it, but like the mistletoe is like a host. It's a parasitic host. It drills its little self in with its roots and it grows right there and then boom, 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 right? So how did it become such a holiday tradition? Well, the berries, while they are toxic, the leaves and the roots can be used for therapeutic purposes. Traditional medicine used to use them to relieve headaches. It relieves menstrual cramps, helps with epilepsy and infertility. I do not recommend going and getting mistletoe and eating it. There is a therapeutic process, there is a preparation process that takes the mistletoe from this potentially toxic plant to and actually to a place where it is helpful and healing. So do not go and buy mistletoe and start eating it. Don't do that. But it's funny that it became such a holiday tradition with kissing under the mistletoe. Now, because of its fertility properties, that's where the kissing under the mistletoe came from. Um, if you have anything that is either an oil that you can put into a diffuser or an herb that you can put into your boil, your pot boil, those are things that if they're already put into something for you to use them in that form, they've been detoxified, I guess is a good way to say that. So you don't necessarily need to worry about the toxicity of it. If you are immune compromised, if you're fighting an autoimmune condition of any sort, if you have young kids, animals in the house, or if you're pregnant trying to conceive, do not use mistletoe. Get the fake stuff. I put it in here because I want you guys to know it's here. But it's definitely along the lines of wintergreen and rosemary. It has a very low threshold. Um, Rosemary is an herb that if you use the essential oil, either sniffing it or rubbing it on, can actually trigger miscarriage. Um, so avoid that. And we're going to get back to our list. So with these herbs, if you use the herbs of the season, it helps you fight off all the crap that comes with the season, the holiday blues, the colds, the seasonal shifts, the hot inside, cold outside. Your body still has to adjust to that. All right. So now that's number 3 is using the herbs of the season to help you maintain and recover. Number 4, exercise for at least 15 to 20 minutes a day. Even if it is not something that you typically do, do it. Adrenaline or endorphins are released after 15 to 20 minutes of activity. Doesn't matter what the activity is, they are released, which helps, obviously, endorphins boost your mood. So if you feel happier, if you feel better, right, then all the rest feels easier. The fog kind of goes away. The concentration comes back. The sleeplessness and the restlessness when you're sleeping can be alleviated. So 15 to 20 minutes of activity is ideal. Obviously, more than that would be great, but 15 to 20 minutes of activity helps release those endorphins and helps your brain manage and go with the flow after the holidays, right? So instead of just plummeting, you're now kind of stabilizing and staying in this balanced area. Finally, and this is the one I added on at the very last second, is meditation and breathing. Now, if you're like me, sitting still, as y'all can tell, not my strong suit. Not my strong suit at all. So when I meditate and I breathe, it's quiet time. So either I'm doing yoga, I'm doing Tai Chi, I'm doing Qigong, I am walking, and a lot of times I'll put headphones in my ears and either not have anything flowing through them, or I will flow. I'll play like some of the calming music, meditation music, something that is going to help me kind of relax a little bit, not necessarily put me to sleep. Um, you need to do what's best for you. So for me, walking around and having that quiet and hearing nature is amazing. Like that's perfect. And the only reason I put my headphones in my ears without noise is because if you pull your hair up and you have headphones in your ears, people don't talk to you. They might wait, but they don't try and talk to you. I use it as a signal. My earphones are in. I am not communicating. That is me time. Nobody else is allowed in. And whether there's anybody on the streets or not, it's a signal to my brain. I've done this forever. It's that signal to my brain that nobody's allowed in. This is my me time. Now you can combine your exercise and your meditation. Oh, weird. That was a weird tickle. Stop. That was a weird, really weird tickle. I hit a nerve in someone's world. All right, so let's go back to this. You can combine your meditation and breathing with your exercise. If you're doing yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong, part of the reason I use those, and I always have that led by somebody else, either on video or live stream or just audio, one of the two. Truth be told, I did go through yoga training many years ago, and I'm not a very good yoga instructor. So I'm a much better participant and student than I am an instructor because I want to fly through it. So one of the things that I've always taught is iron yoga because that's more of a strength training yoga versus the therapeutic relaxation. Restorative yoga is an excellent tool during this time period. You have your 15 to 20 minutes of activity and exercise, so you're going to release your endorphins, as well as tapping into the meditation, tapping into the breathing, things that will help ground your brain and bring you back to center. So if you combine those last two, you're really not putting a lot more activity into your world. You're just combining resources because a lot of these things should not feel like you have another homework assignment. These should be things that are just natural for you to do when you come off holiday, when you get back from vacation, things like that. Now, the first year or two, it's going to take a little bit of practice, but come back. We'll go through these five again. And each year, it gets easier and easier and easier because we don't go on vacation every week. We don't have a family celebration each week, unless you're one of the lucky ones that does like family dinner and everybody lives close together. Which, if that's the case, kudos. You're very well blessed. Um, so anyway, this is not something that you do every day, day in, day out. So it's going to take time to practice it and having tools put into place, a little checklist, something that will remind you, put it in your calendar as a reminder, or like the day after whatever holiday you're celebrating. Hey, check in, do this, have a glass of mint tea, make sure you put your pot boil on. I really need to find out what that's called. Those things, you can put it in your calendar with a reminder and not even think about it. And then that morning, the reminder pops up, and here you are. And now you know exactly what to do. Your past self told your future self exactly what to do. And you can set those. I think the longest time frame I've done recently is like 5 years. So you can set those pretty far out. You really can. Use the digital tools that we have to help you improve your health. Overcoming your holiday blues doesn't have to feel like such a struggle. So we're going to go over these five again, and we're going to summarize it. And then I'm going to send you off in the world to do exactly this so that come next week, when we have our next talk, you're feeling refreshed, you're feeling back to center, and you're ready to take that health to another level. All right. So here they are again. Number one, be kind to yourself, give yourself recovery time. If possible, give yourself a couple of days to rest and relax and just be. No timeline, just be. Get back to your regular day-to-day healthy practices as soon as you're able to. Use the herbs of the season to help you as you overcome and flow from happy, vibrant holidays into normal life. It's going to take you 3 to 7 days. Be okay with that. 4, exercise for at least 15 to 20 minutes a day. And number 5, meditate or breathe. During any sort of exercise or activity, dedicate 5 minutes at least a day, at least one time a day, to meditation and breathing. There are your 5 tips for overcoming the holiday blues and for not allowing it to rule your life. All right, so next week, what we have coming up are travel hacks. So I obviously just came off of a trip. Some of you have as well. And coming into December, many more people are traveling. So if you're one of those, we're going to go through some travel hacks, things that you can do while you're traveling to help you maintain a healthy habit or healthy practices, healthy gut, to keep going with healing your gut or to help maintain the gut you've just healed. Traveling is not restrictive. You do not have to go to the airport and buy food. Let me just put it that way. So we're going to talk about how to do that, what you can get away with, what you can do, what you cannot do, and how to use all of these tools so that when you travel, you're just continuing your healthy practices. And you're not allowing the little intricacies to come in and derail you or make you feel like you've been derailed in any way, shape, or form. All right, guys. Cheers. Happy holidays. I am excited to spend December with you. I'll chat with you soon. Bye, guys.